Your Excellencies, Dr. Didacus Jules, Director General of the Organization of the Eastern Caribbean States, distinguished ambassadors and guests, and special guests by the OECS. It's a great pleasure to present my letter of credence as a permanent representative of the Government of the Republic of Cuba to the Organization of the Eastern Caribbean States today. It's a virtual ceremony because of the epidemiological circumstances imposed by the pandemic of COVID-19 do not allow us to do it in person. It's a real honor for me to have the opportunity to work with Your Excellencies and your staff in order to strengthen the traditional friendly and solidarity relationship between Cuba and the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States. I would like to thank you for the traditional expression of support and solidarity of the OECS with the Cuban people in circumstances that demand more solidarity and cooperation in the Caribbean region and internationally. The eruption of the volcano in St. Vincent and Grenadines, coincident with the worst epidemiological moment associated with the COVID-19 pandemic, allows us the opportunity to show the power of the solidarity in the Caribbean region. As small islands in the Caribbean area, our people face the same great challenges of climate change and global warming. Cuba maintains the readiness to share with the sister Caribbean nations the Cuban skills for the mitigation of the natural disasters and negative impact of the climate change, as well as its practices to face the common vulnerability as a small island states. In recent years, dozens of specialists from the region have been trained in managing the response to the natural disasters with the participation of the Cuban science community and UNESCO. In following our traditional vocation of solidarity, more than 681 Cuban health professionals join those who provide service in the Caribbean countries and territories to combat the COVID-19, who maintain their willingness to continue cooperating in that field. Despite the intensification of the economic, commercial, and financial blockade of the U.S. against Cuba, more than 2,000 Cuban doctors, technicians, nurses, sport trainers, engineers, and teachers collaborate in 19 countries and Caribbean countries and territories. Your Excellency, let me reiterate once again the Cuban disposition to strengthen the traditional friendly relationship with the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States and our sister Caribbean nations. Let us defend solidarity and cooperation as indispensable force to face together the future great challenges and threats. Thank you so much.
Excellency, it is a distinct pleasure for me to welcome you here today and to accept from you the documents accrediting you as Ambassador of the Republic of Cuba to the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States. I'm extremely pleased with the level of engagement between the Republic of Cuba and the OECS region, which is an indication of the strong bonds of friendship and the constructive relationship that exists between Cuba and the member states of the OECS and the Commission. Your Excellency, I wish to reaffirm my personal commitment to further strengthen these bonds of friendship which were formalized between Cuba and the OECS as far as 2011. As has been indicated in your remarks, Cuba and the OECS, and the Caribbean in fact, but including the OECS, have had a very long and deep tradition of friendship characterized by constancy on both sides. Following the independence of some OECS member states from colonial rule, diplomatic relations were progressively developed with Cuba, resulting in bilateral programs of assistance. The OECS region has over the years been consistent in opposing the illegal blockade of Cuba by the United States of America. And Cuba, for its part, has given reliably and unhesitatingly of all that it has to offer. Excellency, it is precisely because of the punitive conditions imposed on Cuba that the OECS attaches an even greater value on the assistance rendered by your country in many areas, including education and human resource development, health, sports, and culture, to name a few. The great Lebanese poet Khalil Gibran said, "You give but little when you give of your possessions. It is when you give of yourself that you truly give." And Cuba has truly given of herself in blood as well as in scarce coin. Apartheid in South Africa would not have ended when it did without the role of Cuba in that liberation struggle. Over these many years, several 100,000 OECS nationals have benefited from university scholarships and professional training, the restoration of sight through Operation Miracle, and the receipt of medical attention that would otherwise have been really unaffordable. Excellency, allow me to briefly focus on some of these areas of assistance which were beneficial and crucial to the sustainable development of our region. And let me also add that I think one of the tasks that we should immediately do between ourselves is to compile a statistical register of that assistance, because I tried to get the precise figures and I think we need to compile them. For decades, Cuba has offered thousands of scholarships to OECS nationals to pursue higher education, especially in the areas of medicine, engineering, and education. And that has contributed to numerous professionals in the region, including doctors, nurses, dentists, teachers, engineers, architects, and psychologists. And our students have also acquired the further and significant advantage of proficiency in a foreign language, in Spanish. In health, in addition to the numerous health professionals in the OECS who obtained their education in Cuba, the nation has also extended medical assistance to OECS nationals on an unprecedented scale. Operación Milagro, Operation Miracle, was a commitment between Venezuela and Cuba, whereby the two countries have offered free ophthalmology operations to an estimated 4.5 million people in Latin America and the Caribbean over a 10-year period. And Cuba continues to provide medical assistance to the region in the fight against the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic through the highly successful Henry Reeves International Medical Brigade that has been at the forefront in helping on a global scale in fighting COVID-19. And I'm happy you provided us with the figures in your remarks about the 600 odd persons, medical personnel who are within the OECS. The current global COVID-19 tragedy underscores the critical need for international collaboration and solidarity, including open communication, shared resources, and coordinated actions. And let me say, in this area also, we face the challenge of the blockade, because we are keenly following and interested in observing the trajectory of the Cuban effort domestically in fighting COVID. And I'm sure you are aware that in a survey conducted by CARPHA, the majority of Caribbean people expressed great interest in Cuban medication as a way of ensuring that we are able to successfully overcome the pandemic. In the area of trade and economic relations, the Chamber of Commerce and the authorities of the Government of Santiago de Cuba host periodically Cuba-Caribbean Business Forum to provide opportunities to strengthen economic relations between Cuba and the Caribbean. The OECS region has participated in these fora, which in effect provide a platform to explore the potential for trade exchanges between Cuba and our region. Our capacity, however, to deepen trade and economic relations have been greatly affected by the deleterious effects of the US blockade. And this is another reason that we have strenuously advocated an end to these unjust and punitive impositions. Although OECS member states have not always been able to reciprocate the degree of assistance received, we believe that our relations with Cuba are non-negotiable. This has been stated and pushed in international fora such as the United Nations General Assembly and in regional fora such as CELAC, which, as you know, I recently attended the meeting of foreign ministers. They have also supported Cuban candidatures within various international and regional bodies. Excellency, these reflect the ties of collaboration that unite the OECS and Cuba. The OECS places great value on its relationship with Cuba and is deeply appreciative of the assistance received over these many years. Your credentials are being presented at a time of global uncertainty resulting from the ongoing pandemic that has captured the attention and strained the resources of every nation. This disease has shown how vulnerabilities in health systems can have profound implications for health, economic progress, and social cohesion. Containing and mitigating the spread and the infection rate of the virus, which continues to mutate, remains a global challenge. In the midst of this, there appears, notwithstanding, a reason for optimism, and that is to recognize opportunities for collaboration in areas that will usher us out of these circumstances. In that regard, I believe that the time is opportune to chart a new phase in the OECS-Cuba relationship, a partnership at a higher level, one where we can explore and advance cooperation in areas that are promising for our respective peoples. Excellency, I look forward to engaging in discussions with you on these and other matters of mutual interest, including also plans for the continuing strengthening of relations between Cuba and the OECS. As you assume your new assignment, I extend my very best wishes for success and to assure you again of my full support and that of the staff of the OECS.